video for you. I'm back. I don't know how to start this. Fuck. See, this whole video journal project thing that I've been doing for 5 years, it started off I could just do it raw, just put up the camera, here we go, and just start going, down, just going whatever, like I'm doing now. But many times lately, I've tried recording videos, and I've had a lot of expectation in my mind, and a lot of perfectionism, trying to get it right, trying to be right, because I started out doing this, and for quite a while, not many people were watching, commenting. Now, it's like, it seems every time I check back on this channel, I've just got more and more subscribers and comments and views, and it's great. I'm glad people are getting value out of it, because it's like, I feel like, one of the reasons why I do this is because I feel like I do have something valuable to express. But another side of it is like, whoever's watching right now, like, can you imagine uploading 200 plus videos of you sharing your thoughts and like people watching, being your vulnerable self? It's I'm human. It's interesting. It's not there's vulnerability there, as I've said many times in these videos. So anyway, I don't know. Many reasons why I make these videos, as I've said a lot in these videos, but also many reasons why I don't make these videos as frequently as I used to. But I kind of feel like obligated to make videos now, because it's like only now am I starting to see that people are getting value from these videos. So it's like, okay, got to give the people what they want. This is my service now. I've fallen into this role that I got to fulfill now. Not a bad role to fulfill, I'll tell you that, if this becomes my work. I mean, it is my work, like, this is what I have to offer. My mind is what I'm offering to the world right now, So I want to say thanks to everyone who left a very supportive comment in my last video. I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time and effort to write something positive and supportive. And I'm still alive, so I don't know how people perceive me or what I'm going through or whatever. To me, like, I don't really tend to think much about the past. I don't think much about how I was feeling in the past, or I don't know, like yeah, I tend to just think about the future and, moving forward, and also, just trying to be as present as possible as well. But I do think about the past. I have nostalgia about the past a lot. The good times or the meaningful times. I don't know, man. So, I mean, I've got a lot of thoughts going around in my head that I could share. A lot of times where I could just set the camera up and start speaking, and it would be kind of interesting and valuable and expressive and whatnot. But I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. At this point, when I'm making videos, just to hang out with myself, and I guess that's always kind of why I made these too. Just talking to me, doing these videos. I've said this before. It's like every fucking video I make is a recycle of the same shit I talk about. One of the reasons why I don't make a video, which is again another thing I've said, I'm just saying the same shit over and over and over and over again. But yeah, I've already said this before, but doing this, talking to the camera, talking to myself, has allowed me to develop an ego or a personality, develop a operating system that is this, what you see. I don't know, man. What am I gonna say here? What am I gonna say today? And again, I've already said this before, but it seems to me like I don't really have anything new to express. I've said everything. Which sounds kind of arrogant, but it's like, in some aspect, it's like I've reached the end of knowledge. Because if you think about it, any thought that you have about something is just referring to another thought. It doesn't really refer to anything in reality. Does that make sense? It's not really making sense for me now, but I was thinking that today. Like thoughts have nothing to think about except other thoughts. Thoughts only refer to other thoughts. They all depend on each other. Like, in a dictionary, every word depends on every other word. You can't have one single word and it means something. You have to have another word for that word to mean something. So have to coexist together. Otherwise, that one word is meaningless. You have to have two words for that single word to be meaningful. And then every other word that happens is all dependent on every other word. It's like this interconnected web. So it's like that with thoughts, you know. So at the end of the day, I feel like now, at least this is the thought that I'm having right now, is that all knowledge, all philosophy is really just for entertainment, expression. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. And because in a sense, right, these video journals, one of the reasons why I started these started making these videos was to talk and try and figure out what's going on. Talk, try and figure out some kind of clarity, some kind of clear seeing, some kind of truth. Talk, think. Express, philosophicalize. Try and find something coherent and clear and truthful. And so, for me to succeed on that, then this process would have to self-destruct. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, ultimately, it's like if you're journaling, right? Like, you want to get to a point where you don't have to journal anymore. Like, why would you journal? Like, what is the actual reason and purpose for journaling? Like, it seems like you have to journal to get to a point where journaling is fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. It's like if you're journaling or, you know, talking, right? And you're like, what is reality? You know, who am I? And it's like, and you're really trying to, like, write this, you know, spiritual autolysis, as Jed McKenna would call it. Then ultimately, it's a method, right? Classic thing that Ram Dass would say of, like, you know, a method is like a boat going to your destination, right? When you get to the destination, you don't keep carrying your boat with you, you leave it there. And it's the same with journaling or this. It's like, this is my method to get to the destination of what I'm really after, which is truth. And it's like, that is why, one of the reasons why I perhaps do not make these videos as frequently as I used to, because more and more I'm seeing that just thoughts, thinking, philosophicalizing is if you know what I mean. I don't know, keep thinking. Like, you don't really want to get caught in one extreme view of, like, you know, conceptuality is in the barrier between is what's in the way of enlightenment. You know, trying to escape conceptuality, concepts and thoughts. That's just another view. That, is it true, or have you just been told that? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, man. What have I even said? See, this is another reason why I don't upload, because it's like, just fucking blethering on about absolutely nothing. I don't know if I got value here, but it's enjoyable for me to express. And there's like, the more eyes on me, the more views. It's like there's some kind of pressure or expectation to say something meaningful or profound or philosophical. And I don't know, man. And it's just less of a need to explain myself, less of a need to be understood. And I noticed that, you know, when I'm putting out some kind of a part of myself online, like this video, when I put it out there, then it's like, some worry within me is inevitable, because I'm uploading it online, and I'm worrying about how it's going to be received and what kind of comments I'm going to get. And you know, there are times when I'm in that kind of worrying mode, and I'm like checking my phone, going on the video, and be like, is you know, how's it being received? I'm worrying, and it's like, here's another reason why I don't upload, because it's like I don't want to waste my mental energy on worrying. And now, ultimately, the best thing I could do is to learn how to not worry and continue making the videos. You know, I don't want to just avoid doing the hard work, so to speak, you know. But also, you know, this is just what happens. This is some habit within this body and mind that does that, and I'm mindful of it. But sometimes, you know, this frenetic worrying energy comes up within me. Anyway, I don't know, man. Yeah, I just I'm just having a lot of just thinking a lot about, I don't know if I'm really thinking a lot about it, but I'm just I don't really know good reasons to keep making these videos consistently. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because another reason why I started making these videos is because I didn't have anyone in my life that I could talk to about these things. But since then, I have had people in my life where I can speak like I'm speaking now, to a certain extent, you know? And so there's less and less that I need to really get off my chest and express. And in a way, again, this comes back to the thing I was talking about before, is like, this has allowed me to develop this kind of personality that can express these kinds of things. And that was a kind of training to develop this, so I could be this person that I kind of wanted to be with other people, you know. So I don't know, man, just a whole bunch of thoughts here, and I can't really remember what I've been talking about. So, I mean, yeah, what's relevant, man? I mean, that's the thing, is like, what is relevant now? I don't know what's relevant to talk about. So I'm just I guess I'm just being taken with the flow. Whatever seems to come out of my mouth seems to be what's coming out of my mouth. Yeah, what's relevant? Well, the emotional journey, the existential journey, the path of awakening. Guess these things are relevant. My life, I don't know. I guess it is good to make these videos because, like I was talking about with like the end of knowledge, it's like the mind just spins and spins and spins. And then it's like, hang on, what's this really all about? Why am I talking? Why am I keep talking? Why do I keep talking? Blah 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 and then it's like the mind starts to go like, well, what is the purpose of this? What's the purpose of life? What's the truth? What matters? What's really important? And then the mind, then it's like a then the mind exhausts itself, and the mind is always pointing to something. The mind is pointing to something outside the mind. or outside the content of the mind. It's getting back in touch with the raw reality of sensate experience. Am I making any sense here? Because I don't even make sense to me. But yeah, it's yeah. A reason for continuing making these videos is continuing making them consistently is it's a documentation of where my head is at in time, and I can go back and look and be like, wow, and other people can go back and look and go, wow, and then look at the journey that I've gone through. And I think that's probably pretty interesting to have a look at. So I think in the past, like, I thought that it was possible to improve, it was possible to get better, it was possible to reach this point of enlightenment, and I would be like in a state of goodness all the time. And that's what I was striving towards. But what I've come to realize more and more is that that is a fantasy, that such state does not exist, because impermanence is a fact. And so I've been disillusioned, and in turn, that disillusionment about this fantasy of enlightenment, of everything being good and okay and perfect, and you're this perfect human being or whatever, the disillusionment of that fantasy is paradoxically where the happiness lies, is where you get that peace. Is this making any sense? How do I explain this? So yeah, in the past, I thought there were things that I had to do to be a better person, to reach this place of satisfaction, or I don't know, man. I don't know. Or understanding. But the real understanding is understanding that there's nothing special to understand. And it comes down to acceptance of reality. So I had this fantasy in the past that I would find a way to never feel discomfort again, or some kind of suffering, dukkha. What I really hoped for and thought was possible was resolving emotion, my emotional life, getting to a point where like nothing could affect me, that that I could never have these emotional ups and downs, that I could get to a point where I was just like, and like, I don't even know what I thought. And I still think it sometimes in my life now as well, you know. It's like I'm still striving, I'm still seeking something, but it's less. And yeah, what I've realized more and more is and I've said this before in previous videos, where it's like you know, this whole pursuit of satisfaction, lasting fulfillment, and I've said before, it's like, is lasting fulfillment realizing that there's no such thing? It's like, when you realize that you'll never be satisfied, is that satisfaction? And in one way, I guess you can put it like that. Realizing that nothing's satisfactory brings a kind of satisfaction. Realizing impermanence gives a kind of freedom. I guess what I've done is I've just been like, oh, what is this suffering? I don't want it. I'm just gonna put it onto reality instead. I'm gonna give like here. I'm just like, oh, what's this suffering? Here, reality, take this. I don't want it. Ugh. Just take that. That's what I've done. That's what I've done, dude. That's what I've done. But is that bad? Let me elaborate on this and what I mean. Is that all this discomfort that you feel in your body and your mind, it's reality happening, it's nature happening, it's life happening, it's God happening, it's existence happening. Where is the you that chose it? And this you that you think of as you, and the you that you think of as a chooser or a doer or a controller, or one that intends to do things or thinks things, is a mechanism of the mind which belongs, or rather just is, reality. Did you create suffering? Did you create discomfort? Did you create the mind? Did you create consciousness? Where is the you? This you is a construct of the mind, and you didn't create the mind. The mind constructs a self by itself. And so you just the suffering doesn't belong to you. It's not you and it's not yours. And there's freedom in that. But suffering doesn't go away. Now there's this whole talk of enlightenment being the end of suffering, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm still seeking. I feel there's way deeper to go in this whole enlightenment pursuit, business and whatnot. But there's less suffering when you don't identify as it or having it, and you see it as a kind of dependent arising. It depends on many other factors in nature, in life. This, again, like this web of all these causes and conditions. Like what I am right now, talking right now, and all that rabba-dabba-doo is depends on many factors. This moment right now, it depends on a lot. And so where's the you that is separate from this web of dependency, interdependency? Where is the you that is separate from that? What was my point? I don't know. Suffering. Yeah, I guess it turns out that acceptance of how things are is where the happiness you're looking for resides. And it doesn't reside in trying to improve yourself and be better. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. You can improve the mind and the body, right? In the past, I was indulging in unhealthy habits. I was not being kind and nourishing to my body and my mind. So in that sense, you know, yeah, like in this life, really, it's just about kind of refining, like sure, like clean out this operating system of the mind and the body, you know, like try and make it the most functioning and healthy and happy kind of system, body mind system, right? Try and ditch the bad habits that you know are bad. Try do the good habits and whatever else, you know. But you or reality itself, it's not gonna change. It's not gonna improve. And so again, like in the past, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get enlightened, or I'm on this search for me to get better. And but really, like this body just can only go at the pace that it can go at, can only unfold. Its journey can only unfold at the rate in which it unfolds at. And the mind or the ego might want it to be faster than that rate of unfolding, but it can't go faster than it goes at. And so the freedom doesn't lie there. The freedom doesn't lie in, or the happiness doesn't lie in, when I am at this level of improvement, blah, 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 blah. The freedom lies in kind of disembedding from, identifying with the body and the mind. Blah, blah, blah. You're not the body, you're not the mind. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess it's like, in the past, it's like, I'm going to realize that there's nothing to do and nowhere to go, and then I'm going to be happy. But it's like, it's very nuanced, it's very hard to explain, because it's like the ego mind really tries to be happy or whatever, and it can never do it. And then it's like, fuck, it exhausts itself, and then it's like, oh, there's really actually nothing to do and nowhere to go. And but you see, the happiness isn't the happiness for the ego, the freedom for the ego. It's the happiness and freedom is there when the ego gets exhausted and lets go of itself. Oh, fuck, man. I'm just speaking spiritual nonsense, but I don't know, man. It's basically true. But one thing I really want to let you know, though, is I really do not want you to fall in this trap of thinking that I know something more than you, or I'm like somehow further along the path than you, or I'm more awakened or more enlightened than you. If you think that, maybe you think the opposite and I'm like a fucking retard, but all I'm saying is, like, please do not fall into that thinking if it's possible not to, because I have myself have fallen into this again and again and again so much. This is what happens on the spirituality. Spirituality. You watch these people online, you read these books, and you're like, these people are so fucking enlightened and so wow, like, oh, I'll never reach that point. And like, look at these enlightenment stories. Oh, you read Eckhart Tolle, and oh man, I'm so jealous. I wish I could do that. But it's like, you don't actually know how, quote unquote, awake someone is. You have no idea. And they could just be using spiritual mumbo jumbo words, because this is like what I've done in the past. And see, the ego is very sneaky. It does that kind of shit. It wants to feel more important, so it uses these kinds of words that seem kind of profound and whatever. But again, it's like it's your own meaning-making mechanism of the mind that attributes meaning onto these words. Ego, unconditional love, enlightenment. They're just sounds. Blah, 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 blah. It's your own internal, subjective, meaning-making system that makes it mean anything. That makes it mean like, oh, this is something profound, or this person has the wisdom. But they're just words. Anyone could be saying them. It just sounds. So because like, I've got no fucking script here. I'm not reading a script. And I'm like, sometimes I use words, and sometimes it makes it seem like I have experienced something profound, or that I know more based on the words that I use. But actually, it's like, that's not the case in a lot of cases, because it's like, these are just the words that have become incorporated into my vocabulary from all the reading, spiritual reading and shit that I've done. So, you know, one person could talk about the ego and unconditional love, and it could be a very shallow realization, yet they're using these kinds of, you know, profound high words or whatever. And another person could be using the very same words, but their realization is like so profound that you couldn't even fucking grasp with your imagination. So it's like, both these people are using the same words, but one is like, has barely fucking had a realization, and the other is like fucking deep in it. And so it's like, who do you trust, man? You know, it's not about the words. Don't trust people and what they say when it comes to spiritual attainments, you know, and insights. You just can't, you know, look at how they move. Look at their physicality. That probably tells you more than words they use. And even then, you can't really be sure what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, making this video was fun. I got into the groove. ultimately you're going to have to figure out what's true. Who's going to figure that out? No one can figure out that for you. You have no way of knowing what people mean when they say enlightenment, other than your own preconceptions based on your own previous experiences. So people talk about enlightenment, awakening, but it means different things to everybody. I mean, I think there is one realization to be had, but how do you know that? But like the way people experience that, you're never going to know how people experience that. I mean, I guess the one realization of enlightenment is realizing that it's like, I guess it's just as simple as realizing that there's something rather than nothing, and just kind of really actually being in that, with that, as that. It's really just like recognizing that existence exists, and what's recognizing that existence exists is existence. So it's just existence recognizing its existence. It's consciousness being conscious that it's conscious. It's knowing. There we go. Enlightenment is knowing. Does that make sense? Enlightenment is knowing. Right? God comprehending itself. I guess. I don't know. And there's many levels of that. Like I've had, like right now I can recognize that. But there have been moments, there's this spectrum of depth. And sometimes it's so fucking deep and it's like, holy shit, there is something rather than nothing. Truth exists, existence exists, God exists, and it's this. What the fuck? How the fuck does this happen? How is this happening right now? And words can't explain the experience of that. So anyway, I think that's all I got to say. Or is it? I still have some energy within me, so maybe I'll continue. I guess let's talk about my life in time. Talk about the self in time. The view of me in time. By this, I mean probably how most people think of themselves and their life. But this is how it actually is, right? Because there's many views of the self that you can have, and it can be very timeless. Or you can view yourself as this entity that has continuity in time, that's moving linearly from A to B in time, from birth to death. That's one way you can look at yourself in your life. So perhaps let's talk about this. Can I get into this? It might get pretty deep. if I'm going to talk about this, I really have to switch modes. I do, because if I start thinking of myself like that, I'm going to have to, because it's, I'm really in a liminal space when it comes to this. You're really in a transitionary place. If I'm going to start thinking about myself as an entity in time moving to death. Oh, I don't know. So let's see. So I'm 25 years old. This body of mine is 25 years old, and I'm still living with my parents. And well, I'm in a state, a phase, a chapter of where I'm really recognizing how things are getting older. Last week, my other dog got put down. And yeah, see how you can notice I'm changing states. If I start viewing myself and my life in this way, then it's like the energy changes. Which is very interesting, actually, as a side note, because this is why things aren't black and white. Like in my previous video, very much that sense of this is me in time. That was the view that I had in that moment, and it seems so real, so solid, so fixed. But there are so many different views of the self and life and time and whatever, and that's why it's like people ask you, like, you know, how have you been? How are you? It's like, well, I've been experiencing the fucking heights of ecstasy and the fucking depths of depression. And both are real and true when I experience them. And it's because you're just seeing things in a different way. And you're seeing yourself in a different way. And life in a different way. And how you sense time. Sometimes time is non-existent. Sometimes time seems so drawn out or whatever. Anyway, that's a side note. So let's get back into the... Okay. Makes you think, probably, do I even want to get into this? But no, I do. I think it's important. It's something that I feel like I want to express, even if it means I have to kind of change modes. But anyway. So, as you may know as well, I split up with my ex-partner like 9-10 months ago. And honestly, mate, it's been a roller coaster of grief. And it's not really something I really want to talk about a lot. because it just seems like I want to keep that the whole kind of how I think about that. There's not clarity in my mind about it yet, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't have clarity about all these thoughts and emotions I have about it. So I don't want to talk about it. But I've talked about it in 2 videos in a lot of emotional depth, so that there's that. But yeah, at the moment, this is how it is. That's again, it's like it's another viewpoint, how you think about it all. There's like, here's this event that happened in time in the past. It happened this amount of time ago, and this thing happened, and it's like, in a sense, it's like you're fabricating that now. Where's the evidence that it's like... Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that my life was very kind of felt very vibrant and stable with my dogs and my ex-partner and my parents in my house, and I'd go out, see acquaintances and whatnot. Now it seems like so both my dogs are gone, and it's like I'm really kind of just trying to remember this. Like, my parents are gonna be just like my dogs. They're going to die, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like, here I am, 25 years old, still in the same room I've been in my entire life. And I've got plans for like the last couple years. Longer than that, I had this dream of getting a van and living in and traveling in a van and just going, living the kind of more renunciate, nomad, monk life where I'm just like a nomad meditating a lot. And that is gradually occurring, that life. Because I've got my van, built it up, built the inside, gone on a couple trips, short ones, because I'm still getting used to it. You know, I first had to get my driver's license. I didn't have a driver's license, but I was like, I want to do the van life thing, but I have to get my driver's license first. So that was a big thing as well. It's like, so there's been... But yeah, so... It's interesting because it's like I want to finally reap my independence, but then I also notice like my parents are fucking getting older and older, and it's like I want to... I feel like I need to express love in ways that I've not yet expressed it before they get too old and whatnot, you know. One thing that I want to say, it's on my mind, is in the past, I remember thinking like, yeah, this is what I want. I want, like I've said this previously in videos, it's like, what do I want more than anything? And it was, I want to be okay with having everything taken away from me. I want to have everything taken away from me and still be okay. I want, because it's like, you know, that classic Fight Club quote where it's like, you know, It's only once you've lost everything are you free to do anything. And there's another quote in a poem called Kindness, which is actually in my YouTube video, which you can check out on my other channel, Jasper Kennedy. And the start of it goes like, I can't remember exactly, but it was something like, in order to really know kindness, you must first lose things. And you can equate kindness with compassion or truth. It's like, in order to really find out what's important in life, you must first lose things. You must first go through loss and grief. Because it's like, once you've lost everything, then it's like you can look around you at this desolate land and see, right, what's left? What's actually left? Burn everything and see what's left. That's the truth. Right? Put everything in flames, and whatever remains, that's truth. And maybe it's nothing. Well, maybe truth is nothingness. Yeah, to know kindness, before you can know kindness, you must know sorrow. That is from, no, what is it? It's, to know, what is it? Before you can know, this is, I can't remember the poet's name. It's like Naomi someone. The poem's called Kindness, and there's a bit in it that says, before you can know kindness as the deepest thing, you must first know sorrow as the other deepest thing. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that, let me just check the battery. I got bags of time. Yeah, what I was saying here is that in the past, yeah, that's how I thought about it sometimes, where I was like, what do I really want? I want to have everything taken away from me and be okay. And so in a sense, it's like I prayed for that. I had that desire, was set out into the universe, and the universe delivers, right? And so the universe delivered. I lost a lot of what was valuable to me, a lot of what brought me love and joy. And you see, in the past, I've had tasted grief. And those little tastes of grief were so beautiful and were pointing to something so true, so true. And though it hurt so much to experience grief, it's like there's something in that. And so in a sense, I prayed for that, more of that to understanding, in a sense, you know? And so it happened, you know? Because look at it this way, it's like, if you pray for something or you desire something, you become oriented that way, and you become like, that is how you start to operate. You start to, that desire starts to orient all areas of your life in some way. It starts to draw all parts of you in one kind of way. I don't know if that's making any sense, but Anyway, so yeah, I have, over the last few months or year, nearly a year, there's been a lot of grief. Fuck me, man. There have been times when, holy shit, I've just been like crying pretty much all day, face in the pillow, just fuck, dude, like wanting to die, man, like having no hope of a future that feels worthwhile. And again, I'm grieving the loss of a fantasy. I'm being disillusioned by this fantasy of me and of life and whatever. You see, because if you have a fantasy of reality, but you don't know it's a fantasy and you think it is reality, or it's something that's possible that can happen for you in life or whatever, and you're living in this fantasy thinking it's reality, then when times come, when push comes to shove, that prod at that fantasy, that provoke it, that poke at it and make it crumble, that's not just a fantasy that crumbles and you're like, oh man, that fantasy's gone, oh well, find something else. You thought that fantasy was reality. Your whole fucking sense of reality, everything, man, your life, your whole sense of other people, yourself, time, life, these massive things that you think is a foundation, when your foundation starts crumbling, like that is the end. That your reality's crumbling. It's not actually reality, but you think it is. And so you're basically experiencing the death of yourself and the death of reality. Do you know what I mean? And so, of course, that's fucking painful, But that's the cost of truth. How much do you want the truth? How much do you want to live in the truth? How much do you want goodness? Are you willing to sacrifice your entire life for truth? It's not easy, but again, you can pray for it. But you see, this is I would read things like Jed McKenna, like his Enlightenment trilogy, and he'd be saying some fucking profound, deep, dark shit, and I'll be like, holy fuck, dude, I don't think I want enlightenment. Like, if this is what enlightenment is, do I really want this? But another part of me in my mind is saying, yeah, fucking get that shit. That's where it's at. Fucking yes, boy, that is sick. It's like Jed McKenna saying, like, enlightenment will destroy you, everything will die, your whole life is gone. And I'm thinking like, holy shit, that's kind of scary. But I'm like, fuck, I want it. And so you pray for it, you desire, set that desire out into the universe. And so what are you willing to go through for truth? What are you willing to go through? Because you can't fucking expect you to just go on this path to enlightenment, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, maybe you can, but to me it doesn't seem like you can just go on this walk in the park to enlightenment. Because enlightenment is the stripping away of falsehood, everything that you imagined to be true. which turns out to be a lot of your life. Like, you can't expect to not go through emotional upheaval or turmoil on the path to enlightenment. Seems to me anyway. I mean, my particular body mind is kind of wired that way. I'm very kind of sensitive and emotional. Like, that is kind of my way of being, so maybe that's just how it is for me, but I don't know. But yeah, if you think about it, it's like, if enlightenment is stripping away all that is untrue, it's like stripping away all these fabrications that you think is reality, then of course it's going to be fucking hard to let go of reality. You're letting go of reality. You're going through the decimation of reality. Not actually reality, but you think it is, right? So it's like, I've experienced all this fucking suffering and grief and loss. And it's like, yeah, no one wants to experience that. But intuitively, I've always known that that's where I need to go through this shit. Because that's how I'm gonna, like, it's like, I don't want to experience grief. No one wants to experience suffering in this way. But I've seen it as necessary. And I thought that also when I see it as necessary, I'm thinking like, oh, it'll be kind of cool because I'll understand what's happening, And in a sense, that has been a friend of mine along the way. I've had this framework with me when I've been experiencing loss and grief and this intense suffering. I've had this framework with me of, like, this framework of awakening. Is like, this is part of the process. This is going to make me stronger and more aligned with truth. You see, and maybe people who kill themselves don't have this framework, because I've experienced like suicidal thoughts, like never thoughts of taking action on that, but so many thoughts of like, I want to fucking die, fucking kill me now, all this shit, right? And there's been actually a lot of times now that that thought will come in, and I can see that it isn't me, and it's arising dependent on all these other conditions, and it's just this thought that happens, just like a cloud passing in the sky. Or I mean, it's not even that fucking slow. It's not like a cloud passing in the sky. It's like a car driving by. Zoom. It's like, I'm just like sitting here and it's like, I want to fucking kill myself. Fuck me, I want to die. It's like something happens where, it's like, it seems like all meaning and hope for a future is lost. And then it's like, I want to fucking die. And then it's like, it's not even me. It's just, it comes by. And then, because the ego holds on to meaning and like whatever purpose and whatever. But the more you learn to exist without a meaning and purpose and to be happy in that, then you don't take these suicidal thoughts so seriously. So anyway, so I'm very... it's been good to have that framework of awakening, but that framework of awakening can also at some points be a hindrance as well. Anyway, I'm just going in so many different tangents. What do I even want to say? Well, yeah, so I've experienced grief, and there is a lot more to come. I already sense there's a lot more grief to come. I'm still holding on to so much shit. There's a lot that I'm holding on to. My parents, my body, my creativity, my intelligence. Lots of stuff, man. Lots of very deep shit that's and by letting go, I don't mean it's like I just mean like letting go of the attachment, letting go of craving or aversion or clinging, because ultimately, like, you're gonna fucking die, I'm gonna fucking die, and I'm holding on to shit for some things to be stable. And ultimately, like, I think in truth, you're free falling. I mean, there's nowhere to land, there's nowhere to stand, because everything is God. It's like this finger can't touch the tip of this finger. You can touch this finger, can't touch that finger, because it's itself. It's so itself that it can't touch itself. You see, the tip of this finger is so itself that it can't touch itself, and that is reality. That's all reality. Reality is so itself that it can't touch itself. And to say that reality is penetrating itself, to say that reality is interacting with itself, experiencing itself, is saying too much. That is implying a duality when there is none. Reality is itself. Reality isn't experiencing itself, exploring itself. It just is itself. And so that's what you are at the fundamental level. And so there's nothing to hold on to, because what's reality going to hold on to when it just is what it is? Anyway. So one thing I want to mention is, you may know it, I've got this kind of nervous tick in my eyes. I just like, nervous ticks, OCD or whatever. It's like a itch that you need to scratch, and it becomes so habitual, and it really fucking hurts. And I've got this like constriction in my throat. I've had that for years, like this the throat chakra blockage, if you can look at it like that. It all comes down to like communication, and it's like, I don't know, man, I've tried a lot of communicating in different mediums and shit, and there's just still this shit here. I don't really know. I've tried exploring it, understanding it, and all sorts of shit. And I get a lot of tension in my neck as well. It's another tick. But it's like when I'm meditating, sometimes it's like I'll just be like, it's all about my head, you see. It's all this tension and like energy is in my head. And most of it, sometimes whatever, yeah, most of this energy and tensions in this like head area, and I'm thinking that it's like, I don't want to let go of the illusion that I am this separate entity that is inside the head, looking out through the eyes, out at the world, because that's not what's true as a matter of direct experience, right? There is no me that's in the head looking out through the eyes, right? There's this sense that if I have an itch on the top of my head, that it is above me, right? I've got this itch here, right? And like that sensation of itching is up. And then it's like I have an itch on the bottom of my foot and I itch that there. And it's like the sense is, oh, I've got an itch that is below, down, and it's this space. I'm fabricating this sense of space of like, here I am, here's a sensation up here, here's a sensation down here. But as a matter of direct experience, it's happening within the same space, and there isn't space for it. There isn't an up or down or above me or below me. Where is me? Why do I think that I am in the head there, and that the sensation in my chest is below me? And it's like I have this, there's this arrow of attention that I think is me. I think I'm this arrow of attention that intends to direct attention. And it's like, here I am, the arrow of attention. It's like when I'm meditating, it's like I've got to, observe the sensations. Like, there's a sensation on my arm, there's a sensation on my ear, and it's this arrow of attention that's going duh, 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 duh. But that's an illusion, that's a fabrication of the mind. And it's like with the mind is fabricating this arrow of attention that exists in the head, and it's identifying with it, making a self out of it, and makes a self out of an entity that intends to place attention somewhere, or that decides to think or contemplate or whatever. And so back to this whole nervous tick, fucking tension in the head, throat, eyes and shit. I think it's like this is the ego resisting letting go into that truth. It's like with the eye thing, it's like, because like if I just like let go, it's like I'm walking down the street, right? I'm walking down the street. If my eyes are relaxed, I just effortlessly concentrate on things changing, right? The visual field is changing. And if I just relax into that and effortlessly concentrate, put my focus on that or whatever, naturally, then it's like this sense of me looking out of the eyes can get quieter. And the ego doesn't want that, because the ego is this fabricated sense of this entity in the head placing attention, right? And so my eyes do all sorts of fucking shit to maintain a sense of control, to maintain the illusion of control, because it wants to survive. And that's what the ego is. It just wants to survive. This is just how I've been thinking about it a bit, what seems to make some sense. But maybe, I don't know, I mean, I'm prone to fucking nervous tics and shit. Like my mum has some, nervous tics. She's got like a thing with her arm. So it's like I've definitely got like some genetic code, or I've picked up on that from her with these kinds of shit. And I've had many other like nervous kind of tics in the past, in my childhood and shit as well. And sometimes they just come back. And also, stress and anxiety bring them on as well. So there's a lot of factors, but I just want to point this out as well, because it's very interesting, I think. Yeah. Because like, think about it, if you're in meditation, right, all you've really got mostly is the phenomena of sounds and the phenomena of your body and the phenomena of thoughts. You got sight, sure, but mainly it's just like black, dark with some patterns and whatever. Smell, taste, sure, but you know, they don't come into it that much. So really, you know, you're only working with three kind of distinct phenomena: sound, body sensations, and thoughts. And all those things are happening in consciousness, or as consciousness, as existence. And you know, where are they happening? How are they happening? Where's the self in any of them? And why do we think that here I am meditating and I'm listening out the ears, you know, the sound's coming in, like, or a sound here is close to me, but a sound over there is far away from me. It's an illusion as a matter of direct experience. This is not closer, that is not further away from me. All that's happening is that this is louder, that is quieter. And quieter to what? Quieter to this. Louder to what? Louder than this. They codependently arise. Volume, loudness, quietness cannot exist independently. You don't know what loud is if you don't know what quiet is. You don't know what quiet is if you don't know what loud is. So, but yeah, all I'm saying is like, is that in meditation, or as a matter of direct experience all the time, if you look at it, there's no distance between anything. You know, distance between what? If there's no self, you know, what is something being referred to? What is, you know, like, only if we fabricate a self here, then there's distance. Oh, this is close to me, that's further away from me. But it's just changing forms in the visual field. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that shit because I've been meditating a lot recently. I actually haven't been meditating for the last few days, but prior to that I was doing like 2, 3, sometimes 4+ hours meditation a day for like a week and a half or so. So I was kind of getting deep into it, but you know, interesting. So I guess I'll call that a wrap. Thanks for watching. I hope you gained some good shit from this. It's fucking over an hour and a half. Long video. I guess I had a lot to express. There you go. I guess at the end of the day, making these videos is mainly just to express. Again, I say all sorts of shit and a lot of shit negates itself and contradicts itself. And so, but that's just the nature of mind, contradictionary. So, you know, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good life, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.